So, we're going to get started. Everybody can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hello. Obviously, I can project pretty well already, as people might have said. I could probably take this off, right? You guys kind of know who I am. However, I am a solutions architect for 318 in New York City. We're founded out in California. We're actually in Santa Monica as our home base world headquarters. We will not be going over the basics of Munki's moving parts. There'll be a little brief section where I do the quickest setup of a Munki repo possible to kind of go 0 to 60 with a setup, or at least to show you the pre-recorded setup, because I'm not that tempting of the demo gods. The lab that Nate and I just did, meaning all Nate, is up on his Dropbox. Slides are available on the #PSUMacConf hashtag if you wanted to do a search in the Twitter for that. Of course, slides will be made available sooner rather than later. And so leveling up with Munki, what did it mean? I'm actually going to do lots of conceptual stuff because that's easier than making demos work. And I like the conceptual stuff. That's what I chew on. That's the gristle that I really get into there. But don't fret when I'm talking about these possibly advanced topics. They cannot be more complex than my feeble brain can handle. Here's my thesis. If you're leveraging all of Munki's moving parts, you can appreciate this free yet robust, lightweight yet enterprise-grade tool that follows a centralized, workstations pull rather than servers push model for management. To take that a step further, when we're talking about a lofty goal like implementing configuration management, for example, that pull model means when you're managing in a declarative rather than a procedural way, you just decide what you want the end state of the computers, or you could call them nodes in the Puppet terminology, under your purview to be, and you rely on the tools to do the rest. Now, that was kind of all abstract, and that doesn't sound particularly actionable. So while I can't bring myself to recite dictionary definitions of all of these things, we will break these concepts down and see how it becomes a good thing when translated into our practical implementation. I don't think I'm miscategorizing my audience when I think that we're just trying to learn what it is that patch management systems can do best and how to really take it to the next level. So the end state is where we really want to get into with these tools. I'm trying to kind of conceptualize it a bit up first before we say what it is, is the payoff. But as Jeff Atwood of Coding Horror says, why is it that deploying software does happen to stink? This is a blog post of his where he talks about his wife tries to put in a CD that she got with her camera, and he's like, no, don't install. Because software just stinks in general, and he goes into, as a software developer, nobody knows that more, close to the surface. And in general, sysadmins, as we could call ourselves, we're a cranky bunch. Or as Luke Knies said in his keynote last week, we're the haters. Nothing is free enough or easy enough when considering the effort we'll need to expend to deploy a complex system or support an intricate piece of infrastructure behind all of that. And I'm not saying I don't appreciate enterprise-grade patch management suites like Jamf's Casper, Tivoli Endpoint Manager, or Absolute Manage, or what have you. But there's an ethos of simplicity and agility in the tools that I admire. And being part of the Munki community feels like we're always a step ahead of issues, and as a group, we can be responsive to whatever vendors may happen to throw at us. Now, a constant refrain you may have noticed from this conference is how we promote sharing code. But at the heart of that is really what we're all trying to do, is solve problems and give each other hope that these things really are achievable, that it's not just pushing the rock up the hill and getting rolled on again and again. Sometimes we need to be so agile because software stinks, since it's written by humans and is imperfect, and it helps to see an example. In the earlier presentation, Nate actually posted the link to a GitHub repo that a lot of folks are helping to collaborate on of package info files for Munki, so that when there's an install key that actually stops Office from trying to reinstall, for example, somebody's already done that work. We should have a little bit more sharing, a little more transparency, a little bit more portability between our environments. And there isn't a grand unification scheme just yet, but guiding principles, examples, tutorials, that's really where it's at. And continuing on the theme of GTFO, and pardon the NSFW-ness of it, but Randall Sakes made a great video tying together Deploy Studio, Munki, SUS, Software Update Service, and MCX. Now, we're not just proselytizing. We're not just saying, hey, you should come in. It's the Kool-Aid's just fine. Really, there's things that are accomplished by us spinning up these systems and trusting these tools and investing the time to learn them and go all the way. And we have actual examples where you can hear the echoing in his video off of the cinder block tiles of the school district that he's in, where he's making it happen on a white plastic MacBook. It only takes 45 minutes to watch this video. I like SSDs. Anyway, so towards the end of this entire thing, I'm not going to do so much live demo at all, but there will be a little bit of a tutorial. We'll have some time for frequently asked questions and Q&A. But you may not have been in the previous session and may still be a little bit curious about, how Munki, why Munki. Now, I'm still going to stay pretty high level and lofty for a bit, even though you're already semi-invested in listening to me for the last session of PSU MacCon 2012. I just kind of like to sell y'all on why we want to level up with Munki. And that's the way it goes. We're have one really big advantage to Munki as a system to invest in, and that would be the fact that it's free. That certainly doesn't hurt. You can spin it up, you can test it, you can rip it down. And then we have a very active mailing list. So this is from a couple of days ago, and look at, contributor on SVN, contributors to the community, my man TV Sutton. 200 plus, so like more than a couple a day. As long as you're asking descriptive questions about what you've tried and what you're expecting and not working, just like bug reports, people are usually very responsive on the list because we're FP2 Office blowing up in people's faces. Some people let that out the door faster than they might have liked, and now we're dealing with the fallout together. So we have this community right there for us. That's not the only reason of why Munki, though. How better could it be that people are actively using and talking about it and solving their problems with it? We also have just like the author creating great magazine readable articles in 4 parts about holding you by the hand and walking you through all of that. And then the contributors are actually affecting the code. There's back and forth, and that's probably woo. That's probably a well-known name. I think they're on the internet, those guys. And when there comes to this very unfortunately male-populated community, there's a lot of love to be had. Now, this would have been a Nigel Kirsten Stackhammer slide, or we could do lots of cult of personality about the people we admire, but I have somebody that's even more of the patron saint of sysadmins who messaged me on the Twitter because of a throwaway line I did in another session, and this is Tom Limoncelli. He wrote the Practice of System and Network Administration, and he leveled up with Munki, and his environment is using Munki. He works at the internet company, company that makes the internets. And if I had a pen, I could draw on here, because I didn't ask him for if it was okay to use one of his slides. I actually sent this slide to Ryan when I was trying to buy influence with him. there's a four-pole axis, right? You can have things that you do rarely, the things that you have to do often. There's the things that are easy when it comes to difficulty. And this is our road, right? And the things that are hard. I don't expect people to memorize and fully understand what it is, but it's so ingrained in our tool-making culture of sysadmins that we need these tools to make our lives easier, because if you do something once, it is highly likely you will do it again. And if you have a big fleet to maintain, you need to make sure that goes off without a hitch. You need to actually test things. You need to look at your workflow and how you're managing your time and approach that properly. Pardon me that I'm still crazy high level over here. But when it comes to the things that are easy and you do often, you're going to want to automate those. This is exactly what we're talking about. The things that are rare and hard, maybe you just, I don't know, bring somebody in, plug. Maybe if it's often enough that you need to actually integrate it into your infrastructure, maybe you document it. If it's easy and rare, the worst case scenario, the region of pain, because that should be HR and policy, maybe you just do it manually. Come on. We got to actually approach things somewhat pragmatically. The thing that's right in our wheelhouse, though, is the stuff that we're doing often and is easy, or easy enough, or approachable enough. And just to reinforce about how this sharing is what I'm really going for here. This is about quick wins. And the tutorial itself can be accomplished. We went all the way to extra credit downstairs in the lab very, very quickly. So knowing that that initial feature set is so quick to accomplish should really make us start looking how we can take that to the next level. And looking at our options there, we want to know, did you know that that's Lance and Bill? Like, really? Hey, Lance. It's very, very... now, the things that are applicable for our environment, the things that Munki was made to crack the secret code of is the 18 sequential updates to Acrobat 9. How's about? Give it up for Acrobat 9. Give it up for Jody Rogers, at Jody Rogers on the Twitter. Not blowing up his spot at all. He's going to see this video, and he just started following me on the Twitter, so y'all can. Anyway, we can bootstrap our images with Munki. Here's another example. Okay, that's one example of just Acrobat. How about the fact that install at startup, you can touch that file, and Munki will get your machine into a state, just as if Puppet was doing a declarative, hey, get into this state, bang, 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 bang. You will have the dependencies for software packages that are going to work really well with Munki, but your services, your configuration files, there may be more powerful tools for that. But it's also, you can point it straight to your software update service, so you don't monkey around with firmware updates, with EFI updates. You can speak directly to Apple for those, for example. And who doesn't love printers? Another great thing that Munki helps us automate and takes away. And then the self-service nature of Munki is another great thing. Alan Golbig, who is not in here, talked the very first session about installing Lion. And that's another leap that is a secret weapon in our arsenal now that Apple has enabled us to do. They've taken the net boot where you have a disk image that you're booting from, and they've made it a very portable thing. And Greg is the one, Greg Neagle, the creator of Munki, that made that a packageable and deployable technique. So I hope you take home even more inspiration of the things that you could use in your environment. It's not like Apple Configurator. Apple Configurator, people think, wow, I am ready to make millions with this. I can roll out all of these devices 30 at a time. But I can get all these devices going, and it takes Apple IDs, and it's so nice. It's not going to make you a millionaire. But still, Munki can be extended, can be improved upon. These sources there for you to find more inspiration from. But even when we're talking about more complex environments, I would I would talk about starting it very, very simple. Net install, that concept of making a GUI install process over the network that Apple enabled, this is a very easy way for testing in Q&A. This is just, you know, did you set those keys correctly? Let me find out the exact interaction that people are going to have with it. Is it going to fail at the logout window? Did they really write that package that horribly? That's a great thing to just start with when you're looking at, hey, how do I take, I've got it up and running, how do I take it to, you know, the next half step up? But soon enough, more power, And I'm not talking about being a hacker. I'm not talking about being a hacker, no. So this was on the Hacker News recently. On the news.ycombinator.com, somebody linked this up. It is 146 lines of code, you know, somewhat commented, about doing defaults right. Okay, that's your configuration management system, huh? That's how, this is in somebody's dot files. It's how they want to customize their own system, you know. It was meant for good, not evil. But, kids, stop the defaults writing. Stop the downloading. Sorry, I'm big on the memes. Just because you can use defaults rights to be your configuration management, you may not want to. Just because you can use Munki to enforce LocalMX, maybe that's not actually the best choice for you, but that's really like a great approach to start getting into when it comes to a mindset. How do I define the settings on a machine, not just the software, not just the packages, not just maintaining what's out there? How do I customize the experience? And LocalMX is the way that you can just push it on down. It is not just your new bicycle. It is not a truck. It's a series of tubes. Now, I'd still like to go through the process involved with LocalMX in this implementation. YMMV, like I'm saying, a configuration management system may be the better way to go about this. Commercial suites or open source products to do so. But to break it down, you can bootstrap LocalMX in a package. You can split up the management so that you have one computer group in the exact model that I'm talking about. And I tweeted the link last night to the videos from last year of how I went through all of the individual steps of LocalMX in an InstaDMG package. But all of that code is available for people to access and use. Then you can ensure present, to use terminology from Puppet, to say, okay, the installs key is looking at this computer group plist. Make sure it's there. You can do a hash on it to make sure it has not been modified. And this is something that you can, you know, automate after you deploy, or you can just keep pushing the package. It's kind of very small. Like, this is where it breaks down when it comes to that model, breaking it down. But again, when it comes to last year's talk on LocalMX, this is me. I'm sorry about my VanityUrl. I'm really not concerned about metrics. I'm really not concerned about inflating my own ego. But I thought it was nice and short, and it's 2011, all lowercase PSU, for you to get all of the stuff on iTunes U from last year, by the way. Just throwing it out there. Or it's the entire podcast, I believe, for PSU. So just in case Q&A isn't cutting it for you to the ends of this session, and you want to look at what's going on last year, and you gave me all those ones on the feedback form the other day. I really appreciated that. Too hard to follow. You can look at what was going on last year. And here it comes. Let's take it to the next level. Let's go all the way. We went from 0. Let's go to 60. Let's take it to the Goog. Goog. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be helping you watch the movie. Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Oh, sorry, I should drink some water. So, Simeon.googlecode.com. This is going to be exciting to no one. Here I am. I'm going to go to the wiki. I'm going to look at what the instructions are for the admin setup. It says, hey, you need command line tools, you need package maker, you need new make. I say, okay, I already have those by waving my wand. Look at that. That's how good I am. Then I need the actual code. I'm going to check it out from SVN. You notice how it's missing saying trunk. Do you really want to check out the wiki as well? So over here, we're going to add just trunk, and we're going to check it on out. That's all my code coming down. By the way, if you do a screencast on a slower machine, as you record it, it starts to slow it down. We're going into the Simeon directory. The first thing you need to do is make swig. I really don't even know what that does. Thank you very much. It is pulling down open source product and it's trying to build it. The next step we can do at the same time, download the Google App Engine launcher. Why are we doing this all, by the way? I'm sorry. This is Simeon. It's a web front end for Munki. OK, where were we? So it's I've downloaded it. I'm unpacking it. I'm going to quote unquote install it by doing a drag drop, and then on first launch it unpacks itself, you know, because you want to start using the application instead of watching the progress bar. It actually, this is where the demo starts to go off the rails just a touch. Yeah, Google app not responding. Yeah. What time was it? Yeah. So all that was, the only quote installation was doing symlinks so that our path knows about the Google launcher, like send it up to Google App Engine tools. Like we're building in our instance locally, then it gets sent up, right? Oh boy. Oh boy. And, oh boy. Oh boy, here it comes. You really think there's actually going to be a payoff where we're going to use Simeon? It's going to happen at some point, right? We're going to actually use this front end that I'm preparing. So I'm moving the settings files for Simeon into that SVN checkout. It's only 3 files that I actually need. I've generated the cert in advance. I've filled out some answers in the settings file in advance. It's very quick and easy to update your Google App Engine instance. They've made that part very simple. Yeah, I'm going to overwrite the default settings file that's there that you're supposed to fill out. I have my CA's public cert. I have my server's public cert so that it knows when it deploys that up, what's going on. This also helps us when we're deploying our first package. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, here we go. OK, great. So Swig's done. Step 0 has actually decided it's built the software, and now it's going to move it into place. Boy. Can you tell that I did not prepare enough material for this presentation? Therefore, I made a really long video. I can't even get my OK, so yeah, it's moving into a local directory. All right, yeah, now we can make test. Now we can actually get all of the dependencies that are going to get sent up to Google App Engine. Google can't distribute the open source Python products that they're building on top of as part of the you wouldn't want them as part of the SVN checkout. So it's getting setup tools, it's getting pip. There's a typo in the pip file on pypy.python.org. So it times out looking for GitHub. This is last night, guys. This is exactly what goes on when we try to, do the most complex, the largest deployment of Simeon in the world, of Munki in the world possibly is using this tool. And so now it's getting Django. I win! I broke the internet. OK. Have you ever seen VMware kernel panic? That's your entire system. This is inside of VMware. I was able to film it. Isn't that great? Isn't that awesome? This is what the last time behind presentations. That's what it's all about. Oh. I need some water after that one. Jesus. Keep going. Here we go. No. Here we go. No. Here we go. Deal with it. Deal with it, man. Simeon is complex system, man. It has entire blob store around world, man. It's not for mere mortals, man. I'm sorry. We're halfway through the presentation, almost exactly. You'll get out of here soon. I won't eat any of you alive. But let's talk about the front ends, the web front ends. There's an easier way. So I'm setting up a Munki repo. This is actually just the commands I run previous to this, right? I need those 4 folders, right? The people that were down in the Munki session. I made the Munki repo. Hold on. I figured out how to pause the video and make it keep going. Well, work with me. Okay. So I'm doing this exactly as that article that I showed you on MacTech Magazine. So this is in the shared folder. I made the Munki repo. Then I went into it. I created all the directories. Those you guys might know. I moved back out. I changed permissions on it so that everybody had read and execute. And then I did a symlink to the web server documents. You're following along at home, you know what that is. I turned on web sharing, right? Quick, fast, in a hurry. No, wait, it works, but am I going to go to Munki repo? Oh, what's this? Oh, I'm logging at root. The password is Greg. Hey, I got some clients. They've checked in. Have they done anything? Not really. Okay, but I made a manifest for everybody. Let's check out what's in that manifest. So I've got a catalog. I got an optional install in there. I'm going to edit it. Yeah, I like GUI. I like tools. Check this out. I have autocomplete. Look at autocomplete. You go, autocomplete. I can create a new manifest from this interface. I can, name it Mercedes. I have no idea. Like, this was at 7:30. I don't know where I came with that. And then I can, edit that. The catalog's autocomplete too. That's nice. Yeah. Same functionality. I can't delete any manifests right now. That's not working. But I can go into the inventory. It's nice to know that I can do a query on the system for Chrome. I can look at who has Chrome across my entire fleet. It's kind of nice. I can look at what the actual inventory items are. So this is everything that's been collected across all of my clients. And I can do a query on that. For example, Wi-Fi diagnostics, who's got that? When it comes to the actual admin interface, say I have, I've gotten broken client reports, for example. I can, I don't need to see those forever. I can go in and delete those. I have deleted those. I don't know what this is. I have other reports on the machines themselves. So I can get some of the specifics about the machines that are currently in the script that I did, in 2 seconds. And I can add a username. I can add information in them that'll get tied. I believe it'll pull it back down to the client. So that's nice and obviously interesting. Obviously interesting. Thanks for spending some quality time with the website today. You should love that as a logout. I'm sure that's the default in Django or something like that, some type of admin.
Quick question. For the Simeon interface where it said, where you showed how many people have Chrome installed.
That was, this is not Simeon. This is
not, I'm sorry, which is this?
Don't worry about what it is.
Okay.
I don't need to be an international man of mystery. I'm sorry, I'm very not safe for work right now.
Okay. Is that pulling that report on what Munki has installed, or what was already installed, whether Munki installed it or not?
So if you're familiar with the Project Munki report,
okay.
The pre and post flights that it runs, that's how the sausage gets made.
Okay.
So those are on Google code, and I'm assuming that this is, if not a direct analog, a variant of that. How the sausage really gets made, I'm what do you want from me? It was 11:30 last night and I kernel panicked. I wanted to go all the way with Simeon, but I have this. This is really great. And we're going to have a special guest. Yay for special guests. I always wanted to have a special guest. Any other questions at this point?
This is working, like
This is a fully operational mothership that's not released.
Okay.
And there's no time frame upon when it will be.
That's Greg's doing this?
Yeah. So you saw the same functionality last year in Mac sysadmin. It's just he put a new front end on it, right?
Yeah.
So. This is the big old disclaimer. This is Monkey Web. I didn't think I would really have the presentation. I really wasn't sure I was going to get it together at all. But thanks to our patron saint, Greg Neagle, at least our Mac sysadmin patron saint, I have something to show you that is a pretty darn good web front end. It's the one that I've always wanted. You can run it on your local network with just HTTP if you want. If that's how you roll, say, OK, yes, you can slip HTTPS on it. If this does get released, it probably will be open source. There are other web front ends to Munki. I talked about how you start of just using it when you're QAing patches that you're going to deploy. Just the simplest, already built-in functionality is optional installs. I talk about packages that you could use to subvert nature and use LocalMX to manage the settings on your machines. If you really want to get that medieval on your systems over the network, you can go ahead and do so. And now I'm talking about web front ends. The future king first, assuming it doesn't kernel panic your VM, and the present yet may not be publicly released Monkey Web. And that's about all I have. I'm going to actually hand it over to a special guest. I'm so happy I have a special guest. Okay, can you see him blushing? We have a mic here as well.
Great.
So you want to get hooked up?
Special guest, do you want to introduce yourself?
I will, yeah. So hi, everybody. My name is Ricky Chilcott.
Into my.
I'm here with Phil Skosich. We both work at Ohio University. And we've been working with Jordan Rain, who's based in Simon Fraser University, which is in Canada, on a project called Monkey Server. He started it about, I'd say, probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. It's a Ruby on Rails web front end, similar to Monkey Web. Let me get displays up here.
Going. Hello. So, come on, not yet. Oh. Sorta, kinda.
Come on. Detect. Detect.
It's not even detecting the display.
Well, it's a bit of changing though.
Are we able to access that from here?
We can do that.
Okay.
Demos, always.
Without a net, folks, I could sing in the meantime. You guys really want that, don't you? I see everybody's eyes poked up. Like, he ain't gonna sing, is he?
More sinatra. Do you take requests?
Dun, dun, dun. Somebody's actually messaging me on chat right now? You people have no shame. Where are we in the world? Let's get a new window. Oh wow, I'm mirrored even. It's almost like I planned this. Please.
Here. All right. Well, Phil, do you actually want to give an overview of how this system works a little bit?
Oh, there we go.
And
hey,
so that I can pull this up. So we have two special guests.
look at that.
So I have to kind of like, do I have to do this during the?
I love that. I told you, I love that.
How long is my tether? But, well, of course, the Monkey server is kind of on top of Monkey, and it's a web front end. It adds a little bit of functionality. It makes it nice for like a larger department where you have people that are dyslexic like me that don't like to do command line. You can add.
Oh,
are we live? Okay.
I have to add the VPN into.
And
sweet. This is without a net, folks. This is how we're going to spend the next 15 minutes. Sweet.
But you can add groups, which is really nice. That functionality. So if you want to add a group, and then you can kind of nest things that way for a little bit more fine-grained control.
Just like the included manifest type functionality, but with specific groups. And the back end is?
So the backend's a Ruby on Rails web application, and it ties into MySQL or SQLite as a database backend. So what you do is you create computers You can have computer groups. You can put those computers in those computer groups. You can also have packages, and you can have bundles, which are groupings of packages that are commonly installed.
So something that was noticeably missing from Monkey Web is the fact that there's no package upload functionality. You're talking to the directory structure of your Monkey repo, just as you may have been used to using. Maybe you like those tools already and you're fine with them. Simeon, on the other hand, has you upload the package, you have to paste in the package info file. So you do need to be on a client generating a package info file for these systems, but the Monkey Web, it's glaringly missing. That also keeps the database backend to barely anything at all. All you're managing in the database backend of Monkey Web is users, and like your manifests just get generated to the right places. It drives those files as they are created, because XML, no problem. The package info is where we start to talk about the Apple-specific stuff. So while we wait for AT&T to not give us internets, we can look at the exact GitHub repo.
Yep. If that pulls up too.
And you might want to talk about how it operates as far as you don't need an admin on your system.
Right. Yeah. So it's it's all the same functionality of Monkey. Just your administrative thing. So the reason that we are using this in our environment is it seems like Monkey, whether you're just using it with Apache or any web server, using the command line tools, or even Monkey Web, it's really good for kind of one administrator or two people who are working together who really understand the repository really, really well. We have a unique environment where we have a central IT group. They have some Macs that they manage, but we also have a lot of distributed IT groups, College of Communication, library, who still need to be able to deploy software. So we've kind of taken upon ourselves to build a lot of the packages for these units. But something like Firefox, not every single person needs to have their own Monkey repository in order to push out Firefox, right? So I can build it in College of Communication, share that. They can import it into their units and deploy it to their machine.
So you have a list of shares that other people can make available. So it's a very nice collaborative thing. It really works out great.
It looks awesome. Or maybe just Chrome looks awesome. Spinning progress bars look awesome.
Yeah, well, this happens all the time on the VPN because of the URL rewriting.
So we have the VPN and AT&T working against us here.
Yep.
Sorry.
So, so this is the dashboard. What it can do is it'll show what machines have checked in. That'll eventually populate if you were there. If you were on
had to
campus.
be there.
You have to be there.
I do not have the wire dongle.
But now that I've VPN'd in, it'll be too much work. So anyway, so here's the dashboard. It'll pull up warranty information too. Do you know if Monkey Web has any of those warranty things?
I'm assuming it's up to you. I'm assuming it's not exposed in the GUI yet that you would need to customize to add those fields to have that functionality there, that it's not doing logic or things like that to make fields more responsive. Okay. And this is the good stuff. This is the GUI icons. Look at how lickable this is. Anyway.
So so one important idea too is one of the things that Allister was talking about is testing on machines and sort of automating these things that are easy. So we've talked to some people who just kind of test in production, which is really not a good thing. But we all do it.
I don't always test my code.
But so we have two environments. So we have a staging environment and production environment. So we'll upload packages. We have a few machines in staging. We'll test the deployments there. And then you can move packages or bundles or computers into production.
Top.
So let me go on to a staging machine.
Staging and production. I feel like Vanna White. I kind of look like Vanna White.
The resemblance is
I get it on the street.
striking.
Uncanny.
I was momentarily confused.
So here we have three machines in staging.
for when we do Q&A.
Very similar to the sort of the Munki report functionality. It'll post up reports, both of your system profile as well as the latest Munki run, and it'll keep track of what machines have installed what applications, if we can get that to work. And it'll also list packages.
And along with the package theme here, it's another really great thing is the optional installs. You want to touch on that a little bit, Ricky, while it's loading?
Yeah. I mean, just the same optional installs that are built into Munki. We have support for optional installs, managed updates, managed installs, and removing packages built into this. So you can see here's if you're looking at one machine, you can see what packages are installed. Overview of the system profile. If there were printers installed here, it would list those. Manage install reports shows the latest run, how long it took, any warnings.
You can actually edit those in the window itself.
Bad package info. Bad package info.
Here, when you're looking at a
Specific
individual package, you can edit that package. And so what Allister was talking about before, when you upload a package to Munki server, it'll inspect it using the Munki tools, and it'll do its best to sort of figure out all these properties. So version.
Web version tracker, which is really nice.
Yeah, it integrates with web version tracker. So if we were to go into the list of, what's that? Isn't that awesome?
That's the living roughness.
Yeah,
that's what
awesome.
that is.
So it'll go there. It'll do its best to say, hey, there are these packages. You have version 13.1.10,000 numbers for Chrome, and this version is now on Mac Update. So if you want to,
this one goes to 11.
I'm gobsmacked. I was looking at like hacking the Sparkle framework and doing all this tomfoolery.
And so if you need access to the receipts keys, installs keys, they're right
It's all
here.
there, and you don't have to go poking around in the command line.
And you can all access to the scripts and all that stuff too. So.
Did you design this?
Jordan did a lot of the work. Jordan Rain. And I've had a few students who have worked for me and added some features. I've done some development.
Yeah, it's his GitHub. It is jrain /
JN Rain.
JN Rain.
Just changed.
He makes it rain. slash Munki server is where you go directly to the repo. I'm totally following him on GitHub.
We've also had a lot of, there's a guy, Trey Dockendorf, who's contributed a lot of stuff to adding MySQL support, which we're now using. So a lot of the installs of this are probably in the 50 to 150 range, although at Ohio University right now we're using on a little over 500 machines, and it seems to be working pretty well. So yeah.
I've never had a better special guest. Please, guys, a big round of applause. You got to big up your university, too. You got to big up your university.
Huh?
You got to big up the university.
Oh.
Ohio
Go
University.
Bobcats, right?
Go Bobcats, yeah.
Go Bobcats. Okay, yeah, we're educational theme here, so that's where we're at.
Questions on this?
Yeah, we're just going to give you a mic if there is specific questions for y'all for Q&A. Anybody have Q&A? Please, I'm dying on stage here. Anybody in particular? Yes, go ahead. You can pass it back when you're done. Yes, maybe? Did I turn it off? It's on the bottom. Try it. I'll just repeat the question. Go ahead.
Sure. Do you have to have Google Apps Engine for Simeon?
So Google Apps Engine, yes. You only need one login that you may want to restrict in the way of a domain access to the administrative interface. Again, these are just the admin backends. These are not direct, need to run on a Mac GUI tools, even though Simeon has some tools that would be able to run anywhere that XML can be parsed. It's not quite everything in the web. So like you can't send a student to this website and make them install. They need the Munki tools. You want them to be self-serving, doing a pull model from your clients. Can you pass the mic back, please?
It's not working now.
Can you pass the non-working mic nowhere? What's up, Joe?
I have a scenario where being able to potentially have multiple repositories available depending the source for?
So, yeah, let me talk about all the cool stuff that comes with Simeon. So, the coolest stuff about Simeon is the blob store, is the availability. But what is cool about having Google contribute to your open source product is that they can do backflips. Their kung fu is very strong. They have written into the open source product keys for the package info file. So per package, you can say, go directly to the canonical source for this. You're not doing as much QA in that transport, right? You're going over HTTP most of the time for that transport, so you might not want that. But that is specifically, Nate, who updated the wiki for that, I'm not going to be using the web to get anything, am I? That is a specific package info key to say that the URL to get this package from is not the main Munki repo. You can be that flexible on a package by package basis that if it's CS6, go local. And you can make it so that if you have dynamic stuff on the client like crankd, it will change its client identifier before it reaches out and touches somebody to say, hey, give me the manifest that has all the package info keys rewritten to go local. So that is a little bit too complex. I don't think I could possibly describe that well in the amount of sleep I've had, but that functionality is there to say, I don't need to get anything from Google's blob store. I don't need to do any Google App Engine bandwidth up, down, besides talking to them for my manifest in the catalog. You do need that limited amount of interaction with it for everything because it is the canonical source of truth. But you can customize these things when it comes to the actual delivery of packages to be on whatever link you want, whatever address you want, DNS or not. You might want to do, Pupin Bruyen has done me a great service by, on his blog, telling me how to pronounce his name. He has a great blog. It's Enterprise Mac. What is, anybody that does have internet, so if you could look up Pupin Bruyen's blog. But he has done DNS redirects at each of his locations to say, your Munki repo is X. And he does syncing between his sites. There's multiple sites because everybody has their own individual administration that they're able to. Now that you're logged in, can I break stuff? Now that they have their own individual IT to maintain these things with, they have their own Munki repos, and this is just a management front end for a bunch of them, right? Yeah.
What do you want from this blog?
Oh, just the name.
Enterprise Mac.
Enterprise Mac at Bruyen.com. BRUIENNE. Any other? Oh, I'll talk about other hotness unless we have questions.
Question about MySQL. In terms of SQL or SQL, whatever.
MySQL, MySQL.
Yeah.
Nobody's a Nazi here.
When you do the install, does it create the tables, or you have to go into?
Yeah, we have directions on there's a wiki article on the GitHubs.
On the series of tubes.
If you go to the wiki page, setting up on Mac OS.
Hey, now my internet's work. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
So it kind of gives you a step-by-step set of directions. We need to update these. I'm deploying it on 1.9.3, Ruby 1.9.3. It's faster. So
It has more RAMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did try to set it up on my local laptop earlier today. It wasn't working out so great, so maybe we need to double check that everything is okay.
That deployment process. Yeah.
But,
Okay. Any other questions about Munki Server? Besides how soon everybody wants to start using this?
And contribute actually use it.
And contribute. How many deployments do we know about for Munki Server?
probably 5 or 6, would you say? 5 or 6 people are using it in some production.
Yeah, fairly heavily.
I know that Tevran has a variation. Yeah, and he has some questions for you guys if he hasn't already found you. And any other questions in particular? Leveling up with Munki. Anything tangentially related? Yes.
Would you use Munki Server in tandem with Simeon, or is it meant to be completely?
No, totally separate.
these are repo management tools and Simeon. So Simeon is backed by Google App Engine. What does that mean? So it's a platform as a service, Google App Engine. They have specific architecture that they're utilizing that you kind of need to play by their rules. Therefore, people have not found success that they've publicly shared with Typhoon AE, which is a way to pull down a Google App Engine instance of like a running app and run it locally. It would be nice because they've done a lot of work and it looks really cool, but they also work for the company that makes the Google App Engine. Imagine that. This is not very portable. It's also about the availability is one of the big selling points, but it's one repo per web front end, right? You can redirect the packages, and you have very little in the way of dependence on Google auth to get to Google App Engine. You just need to spin up an instance, but I spun up mine for like free, it's totally free, and you will fall beneath the free limits most likely. Since internets work again, let's look at that. So I have one client that's checked in evar, right? This is, you can get trending installs. Here's the New York 318 site, right? What OS version am I running? What client version am I running? What packages there are in there. By the way, you'll know that an angel will get its wings every time you see a white screen and no content on it. You'll know an angel has its wings. So this, if you look specifically, right, so it does not want you to change things like, I don't know, the catalog it's going to run from, because these are essentially the manifests that the branches that they QA things with. They don't want you to change that just by going in. If you look at the XML, where's the key that, anyway. There was the key for how to redirect it to your local network. I can't find it now. I have not checked my email, and therefore I've not made my payments to the demo gods. Here's another package. You just can say new package, hey, by putting the plist, and then once you have the plist, you can upload the package. So you create it with make package info on the client, and then you make a sandwich. I thought we were going to get our first white screen. The different interaction with the Munki packages, a historical list of installs. Here I am. The install that's occurred. Yeah, I got a failure. You're right. Now you're showing me nothing. Other. Apple updates is another great feature of this. You are talking directly to Apple's public-facing software update service, though, so you cannot, monkey with it too much. Where you say, "Hey, I only want the combo updates." You also don't have the functionality like Munki, core does not necessarily have right now, where you can say, "It's an Apple update. Make it wherever it comes from a install by date, force install by date." So you need to load that back into Munki. Hopefully we're not force installing so many things rather often, but just to let you know that Apple update functionality, a security patch is the #1 thing. That's their 0 day. We want to get that out. As of right now, and I'm not sure where the process on bugs or features is, you cannot force install Apple stuff. With Simeon, you should be able to redirect to a local SUS as well. I heard talk on the mailing list very recently about that. It should be somewhat trivial for them to do this time around. This is their 2.0 of all your Mac are belong to us. They have said that the features are semi-complete for public consumption. You don't need a lot of heavy stuff on the clients anymore. You do need a certificate authority. You do have to add a layer of protection when you're talking to App Engine. There is a wildcard cert for App Engine. Therefore, you're adding your own certs for this particular site, and your clients need to know about the server's public cert. When it does that handshake, it smacks a pre-flight to add a nonce, so it's essentially like almost doing, I don't know what I'm talking about, but an RSA, two-factor auth. every time it talks. That is complex, but it's as hard as setting up a CA. You can use another CA, any CA you might already have, or Puppet CA, which I'm looking at very, very seriously as soon as my VMs stop kernel panicking. And Puppet CA is what this company who made Simeon, Goog, are using themselves because it's already deployed to all their clients. They're building on top of that infrastructure. You know, when you're doing manifests, you can look at those ACLs. So you can restrict access to read-only. Your security auditing team can look at what you got, and you can pull back logs from your clients. So low disk space is a culmination of those logs to let you know what's going on with your clients. These are built in, yep. These are part of the reporting package that's part of those pre and post flight. So the flight concept that I'm talking about with Munki is this extensible nature. You can really take it off to the next level. These reports are built in by the fact that pre-flight, pre-running, and post-flight, it can do some check-ins, check-outs. And when you're looking at your clients, wow, it worked this time. You can say, I can add a dynamic manifest to you. I don't understand dynamic manifest yet. You can upload logs on next pre-flight. So post-flight is the actions it's taken afterwards, right? The pre-flight, as part of it running, when it checks in to say, like, hey, what was I supposed to do on this pre-flight run? It can go ahead and upload logs. I'm not sure the different customizations that you can do with that. Remaining packages to install, Munki installs, ASUS, what it did in the way of errors. You can set the client as inactive right here and make them, if it happens to be lost or stolen, you can get them right the heck out of your client interface. The managed software update GUI logs, so when there's the command line client, if you have a managed install that is therefore silent, or a managed uninstall, and then there's the people interacting with the GUI. Have they been hitting next, next, next forever? Have they been choosing optional installs? Things like that. And then in Puppet, there's an advanced concept that I totally don't understand called knobs. It's probably just more of a programming term of how you make things more modular when you're dealing with a complex system. Since Goog is utilizing Puppet, they're reusing, I think, that terminology. But user setting knobs, I have no idea what that does. I know this is absolutely enthralling. How many more minutes am I dying on stage, by the way? Another 15? We have until noon? Yeah.
What role do you think Puppet has in managing Mac desktops at this point?
What?
I know.
You want to take this one?
Yes, I know it's a configuration management tool. Munki's for managing packages. Use them in conjunction with each other.
So,
They don't have to be mutually exclusive.
I would love to talk about Puppet, though, because I have another 15 minutes, and he brought fruit. So if I go out of line, it's all good.
I mean, what are you looking at implementing it for and that sort of thing in consultants?
What I'm looking at it for are stuff that is disaster recovery, not necessarily critical, but the things that we're talking about enforcing. The Puppet model is that there's only one user on the box, and it's you, the admin. You're pulling the strings. You are the one that are saying, I'm going to run roughshod on this system. At time of deploy, I want Puppet to bootstrap everything that's a payload-free package. Anything you're using a payload-free package for right now, I want Puppet to enforce. MCX, I want it to enforce. So when I was talking before about local MCX and let's break everything into packages, does that sound like a good workflow? I'm not exactly sure. It's config files. So there's the golden trinity. I could bring up his slides, but I'm anti-stealing other people's slides, even though I totally used it over here. The holy trinity is package file means config file and service. Service on Macs, launch D. Every time somebody says cron about OS 10, an angel gets its wings. The config file can be moved with file drop, can be moved from a Puppet repo. That is what the two parts of that trinity are Puppet is best suited for. Launchd and the config file. Launchd, Puppet's service type for Macs knows about launch agents. I just found out by assuming the wrong thing. And it can do system-wide. It can do per user as well. So Puppet has power because it's rooting your box. Your boxen are belong to Puppet, really. Way more powerful than just being able to install whatever is offered in the Munki repo. The last missing piece, though, is those packages. And Puppet can deal with Munki by utilizing a module that Gary Larissa wrote and is on the GitHub. So if you go to...
While you're bringing that up, can I augment what you just said a little bit?
You can invalidate everything I said because it's all open.
No, it's all very correct. The only thing, as far as Puppet owning your boxes, you tell Puppet what you want to manage in the system. That's what it manages. Nothing is going to happen magically to your machines by installing Puppet and connecting them to a Puppet server. And the other piece that I would augment this with is Puppet's really great at saying, here's a state that I want on a system, and I want to maintain that state. And that can be managing the local admin on the box, making sure the services that you need for all your crap is running, making sure that all the Munki pieces are deployed and ready to use, reporting back about things that are changing, getting inventory data from your machines. It's there to gather information and enforce the state that you want. So you can do all the cool things like use Munki for doing very robust package management, which Puppet is not meant for on the desktop space. It's meant for making sure that all the pieces you need are there when you need them, even if the user is fighting against you. Right.
Munki is not the coolest tool in Puppet's arsenal. The M collective is the coolest tool in Puppet's arsenal, according to me, and I'm the one who's talking. I'm the one who's mic'd. When you can orchestrate, you can do a lot more on-demand inventory. The 2.0 of M Collective, I just learned, will actually be able to wait for clients to respond forever if they close their laptop if they're off for vacation for 3 weeks. Maybe not that extreme an example. But you need to start using Puppet, everyone in here. Not just because I said so, because it will actually get you to the pub by 4. The things about Puppet driving Munki means that they can both, as separate projects, do what they do best. Puppet can root your box. You'll pardon me, I make that sound like it's a security vulnerability. We're the admins, right? We don't have to be intrusive by using this tool. We only manage what we need to enforce with Puppet. But putting stuff into payload-free packages is what I'm trying to get away from. I'm trying to stop using LocalMX being all deployed through a package. I want as little on the box as possible that's not in a centralized configuration management system like Puppet, because then I'm describing it in a lingua franca, in a language that lots of people understand. I can hand to security auditors, and with the orchestration piece, I can do a lot more on-demand stuff. Munki's running every hour. And if I don't make it a managed install, if I actually need a little more interaction, Munki's still doing its job great, don't get me wrong, but it's only 4 packages. The configuration files, just saying a key in a configuration file. The standard library of Puppet can do that great. That's what it's made for, those molecular changes. And this is something that I'm very sad to say probably not a lot of people have gotten any benefit of yet, but it is a Puppet Munki module where you can say, okay, like I started this fight with 2 communities where I said, hey, you guys should get together. It would be great. He's really into you. And the Munki guy said, I actually do want some more agility with accessing the contents of my Munki repo. Why don't I let the frameworks that are exposed by the Munki client get driven on demand? A little bit more, agilely. So in Puppet code, you can say, hey, with this module, okay, so this is an add-on to Puppet. You need to get it on your master and distributed client separately, or however that may be. You can say, ensure that this package is present, get it from the catalog X. So if you just want to do a quick bunch of tests, you can do a Puppet run that you can trigger with M Collective and get it on those machines. So the holy trinity is complete Finally, finally, a monkey that everyone can use, even Puppet. Puppet can go ahead and drive it now, because Munki didn't have optional installs. Like it doesn't say, hey, at the command line, get anything from my repo, all yours. You would have to go through this process because of the model of Munki to create a manifest first and find out which catalog you're going to pull it from. So this is what, Godspeed. Please, if you're interested in Puppet, try this. But I'm not going to beg, but it's not actually below me at this point. So this is an entire Puppet module that exists for the purpose of driving Munki. So anything else? Yes, sir.
I have a comment, maybe something supplemental that can help some people. So I found a tool called MacAdmins. I don't know if anyone uses it. It's not a robust solution that's cloud-based, but basically it's an app that you run locally that can read your manifests and catalogs and allow quick and dirty troubleshooting or management of your local catalog or your repo. Yeah, you're in the right place.
Cool. So github.com/ would you like to buy a vowel / MacAdmin. Is this the gentleman who has contributed to the actual Munki code? I believe it's a.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty GUI. So. Yeah, there's still.
Is it Hague? It's not Hague, is it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. People that are recording me. Nothing against people with funny names. Allister Banks.
How does MacAdmin differ from Munki server? It's not.
So MacAdmin is a GUI tool. That's an Xcode project that you could build to create the app yourself. And what does it do?
You can point it at a repo. It'll show you your manifests and catalogs, and basically it's a GUI overlay, so you don't have to.
So there's the built-in make catalogs. There's a built-in make package util. There's a built-in make package info, right? This kind of drives that interface, probably, right?
Yes.
Like both Munki import and manifest util need to know where your repo is. Those are tools that you can do everything on the command line. This can drive those tools by putting a web front end on it.
It's not web.
Maybe, oh, sorry, a Cocoa front end on it. Just like the managed software update app that Munki is a PyObjective-C project. There's Python under the sheets, but what you see is just lickable Cocoa. I have 5 more minutes. Anybody else have some questions or want to talk about Puppet or want to talk about configuration management or lots of other buzzwords that I love? Yes, no? Y'all are surprisingly awake. I do appreciate that. That kernel panic video was long, right? It's like, where's the payoff? Yes, sir.
Have you seen any this is going to sound funny, but have you seen any combinations of Munki with Casper?
Munki with Casper. Casper has a pretty big. How many people in here are using Casper? I never poll the audience. There's like 4-ish people using Casper in here. I have heard of complaints on Jamf Nation. Why aren't you like Munki?
For updates.
For updates? How about so I have heard from Zach Smith that why does Munki look so crappy when it comes to the self-service interface? And it is a clunky bit of UX, but it's still, the price is right. And when he added that optional update functionality, when you click add, and then you click it again and it changes to remove, that's a bit weird. But does JSS have a way to say, hey, you can go ahead and optionally allow people to uninstall software from their systems? Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's extensible somewhat as well, right? You can write plugins for JSS. Yeah.
What I was going to say, I was on the panel that was during the previous session here in Munki, and there's a bunch of people who are trying to put together like a comparison of Munki, Puppet, Casper. If you are on Twitter
right.
and you do the PSU, MacConf hashtag,
Oh.
There's like a Google Doc spreadsheet that's being out there.
So people are already collaborating on it. I was going to give my take because I'm still mic'd. So Puppet configuration management, right? Munki, great, just patch management, package distribution, a sort of self-service interface. JSS, that piece of Jamf Casper's way of distributing software to clients, but the entire Jamf Casper suite is a little bit more overarching to also do, the MCX, the configuration management. But yes, so that Google Docs spreadsheet has gone out to the Twitter hashtag PSUMacConf. Anything else? Y'all have been such great people to me. I thank you so much. Forever. I thank you so kindly, my special guests. And big up yourselves.